So you want to stay home with your kids, but you're still working and you don't know how to replace that income. Or maybe you already stay home with your kids and you're homeschooling, but your budget is too tight and you've got to figure out something. You don't want to give up your lifestyle. It's really important to you that you get to stay home with your children and do life with them. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today because this is one of the most commonly asked questions that I get. Hi, friends. If you've not been here before, I am Sarah Ruth, aka Teacher Sarah Ruth, also a stay-at-home mother of 3 little boys ages 10, 8, and 6, as well as someone who works from home in several different capacities. You can follow along with us at kindletogetherness.com, where we share all things faith-filled adventures, faith-filled homemaking, and faith-filled homeschooling. So let's get right to it. Go ahead and subscribe, like this video, leave a comment right now if you have questions or if you like my face. Anyway, if you want to stay up to date with us, please go ahead and subscribe because that's how I know that people are interested in what's happening. Also, if this video wasn't interesting to you, I welcome your remarks and comments so that I know, hey, don't keep talking about this, Sarah Ruth. So today I am dropping in to share with you about something that is in my DMs on Instagram constantly, and that is I'm at home with my 5 kids. I'm at home with my new baby. Or I still work a full-time job, but my goodness, my heart desires to be home. How can I do what you're doing? And honestly, there isn't any special trick. It really is interesting to me because it's sort of like the way we live the rest of our life. Let me give you an example. If your refrigerator in your house breaks, what are you going to do? You're going to come up with a solution and find the money, right? We don't always have savings put back for an $1,100 purchase. Sometimes we have to go find coupons. Sometimes we have to wait on a sale. Sometimes we buy used. Sometimes we do have the savings sitting there because we've prepared. But whatever the case is, when things go wrong or something's unexpected, especially when it comes to money and needs in our lives, we find a way to make it happen, right? We find a way to make it work. And this is exactly how it is when it comes to our situations as mothers and homemakers who desire to be a blessing in our house. And I love that in Proverbs 31, the Bible describes a woman who has a vision and has entrepreneurial skills and is purchasing things and is building something and is using her gifts and talents to bless her home and to bless others. It's not only her own household, but she actually has a way to bless and build community with others. And if I could encourage you anything to do first, it would be to go and really read through Proverbs 31 and catch hold of the vision of this woman. Create her in your mind's eye. What does she look like? What is she doing in her morning hours? What is she doing in her afternoon hours? What is she doing in her evening? Catch hold of who this woman is. And there's a lot of theories around she may or may not have actually lived. This may be like a culmination of all the character traits and godliness and wisdom of the many matriarchs that were in Jewish society at that time, or even the vision of the best and most wonderful type of woman and wife that could be out there. So, granted, I'm not out buying and selling fields. But there's so much to grasp. There's so much wisdom there for us as ladies, and God has uniquely gifted each of us. So while I don't have a fiber arts business, you may be really gifted and talented in that, where you might be able to pick up procreate skills and be able to make a profit in that way. Or you may be an amazing sourdough baker and be able to take your sourdough into markets in your community. So I have watched women all around me do this, and it is really beautiful. I'm constantly cheering them on, they're cheering me on, and I do really believe that it's God's desire for us to use what we have for his glory and also to be a blessing in our homes. So let's talk about what this practically speaking may look like. Let's think about, you know, do I have time to work? Like, that's one thing that people bring up. There's no time. It doesn't exist for me. Well, let's talk about pockets of time. Many people comment on how I wake up so early. I do. There's a couple different things I do when business was booming and the ESL market was amazing between the US and China. I got in early on in a book club through Beijing, and I've been doing this since, I believe 2015, just before my third son was born. And then I moved into VIP Kid and Go Go Kid, and I get online early in the morning because they're 12 hours ahead of us, and I teach these kids. This is one of my skill sets. This is something I'm able to do. I have a college degree in education. It fits the bill for me. It may not fit the bill for you. It's not really a lucrative industry anymore. I used to be able to refer teachers. I will tell you that if you have a college degree and you have a background in online teaching, like you catch this video and you've done it before, and you're a believer, you're a Christian mother, you really would like to teach children online English, reach out to me. Send me an email at kindletogetherness@gmail.com, but only if you're serious. I do have one avenue where I can help funnel a few people, just a select few. So I'm going to be kind of particular. You're going to have to meet the qualifications. But that is one way that I can potentially help you very practically. If you fit those qualifications, shoot me that email and I will connect with you about what opportunity exists. So that's one way. I get up while my kids are asleep. This worked while I was nursing babies. I made my schedule around, like, sometimes I was only teaching one class and then I stopped and checked on my kids and taught another class, but I was still bringing money into our home, and it was a blessing. It was also done in such a way that it didn't take time away from my family, which is huge to me. It's so important to me. So talking about teaching, even if you don't have a college education, if you're a homeschooling mother, guess what? Ding, ding, ding. You are also a tutor. You are qualified. So what do you love teaching in your homeschool? What gets you excited? What do you feel most qualified to teach your children? What is the thing that comes easiest? Focus on that and start a little tutoring business. Have a student or a couple students come into your home during your quiet hours with your children, or tutor them alongside your children. Tutors are really well paid. This is a way that you could spend an hour or two every week and bring an extra $100 into your home. Create a tutoring pod. One of the most wonderful ways I think that home educating mothers can include their own children and still make a profit is teaching like a sewing class or an art class. Any of these things, having a math club and charging a membership fee for that, different things like that. You could do like a tea time etiquette. There are so many ways. So go to God in prayer. If you're already homeschooling and you're already at home, go to God in prayer and ask him, Lord, what idea can you help me have? What vision can I get where I can begin to bring money into my home in this way? All right, so some things to think about when it comes to scheduling and time is, where are your pockets of time? Maybe you're not like me. Maybe getting up at 3 a.m. is just never going to happen. You are not disciplined in that manner to go to bed super early. That's fine. You don't have to be Sarah Ruth. You're you. God made you different. But you can still find pockets of time. Can you do something for a couple hours every Saturday when your husband's home? Can you go to a market? Can your kids be a part of that? Can you bake something? Can you make candles? Pour homemade beeswax candles? I will tell you that farmers markets and small farmers markets are a huge, huge thing in many areas now. We go all over the USA, and everywhere I go, there's like Saturday market, weekend market. And so that is a really great way to be teaching your kids skills throughout the week and then going to the market on a Saturday or a Sunday and making money, right? Another thing that I've done in the past that was very successful, and actually quite a few people in my area actually do it now, is when my eldest and my second son were very, very little. Like my second son was like a newborn. So I had a 2-year-old and a newborn. I began doing like a weekly menu with like 2 main options and then like 3 side options and 2 dessert options. And people could pick packages. And I would prepare, they would pre-order, and then I would prepare for people in my community to do food pickup on a certain day. And I would provide a meal for families. Either they could choose like 3 to 4 people or 5 to 6 people. And this was very financially productive for me. I would have a cook day. I would put my baby in his carrier. I was in the house. I could still nurse. My 2-year-old could be afoot, and it was no problem. I would just spend 6 hours cooking. And then the next day was pickup day, and it worked so well. So that's another idea, something you can do with your young children in your home, and you can decide how many you're able to cook. You can put a limit on it. You simply just have to create that menu and put it out there. Usually I did it via Facebook, and it was very lucrative. I was really amazed. At times I've even thought about going back to it, but it's kind of saturated in our area now, and there's much better chefs than me doing it. I don't think I can compete. But anyway, so that's a thing you can also try. Regarding time, going back to that time, I keep segueing into all my little ideas because I'm an idea person. But regarding time, you need to think about, where are your pockets of time? Is grandma really wanting some time with the kids? Can you schedule that weekly? Can you give grandma that time, and that will make time for you to work on something? Is it during your children's quiet hour every day? Do you need to be disciplined and have your children have a quiet hour every day so you can work on these things? Can you work remotely from home doing something like a VA or offering an online class? There's many options for online classes. You don't just have to teach students in China. There's OutSchool, which is very popular. And many homeschool mothers are comfortable teaching children. And so it may be a viable option for you. So take advantage of the flexibility that you have as a stay-at-home mother or a homeschooling parent and use that to your advantage. You could use the midnight hours. You could use the early morning hours. You can use quiet time. You can exchange play dates. Like maybe you have a friend who, really would like some spare time. Maybe she can watch your kids for, 4 hours one day a week. And then in turn, you watch hers for 4 hours one day a week. And so you get that 4-hour pocket of time in which to do your work. So there are so many things that you can do. And I want to say this, honestly, I'm able to make what is considered a full-time middle-class income working part-time hours. So I don't work a 40-hour work week. I have not in many years. And so you don't have to either. You are able, through God's blessing and your creativity, to find things that can make $20 to $30 an hour from home. It's really out there. I like my teaching, my remote work, but that's not the only thing that's available to you. The other thing I want to talk about is being a VA, a virtual assistant. Virtual assistants are people who come alongside businesses, companies, small shops, influencers, creators, whatever you want to call them, and they provide virtual assistants. So it's all done via the internet. You don't usually have to leave your home. That is the amazing stuff behind it. And a virtual assistant is somebody who just essentially can adapt. You have to be really adaptable. You have to be willing to learn new skills. But if you know how to send emails, you understand the functions of Facebook and maybe Instagram, you can be a VA. And you can pick up skills along the way. I have been a VA now since 2017, 2018. And when I first started, I was so green. Somebody just invited me to do it. And I learned as I worked for her. And not only that, but as I picked up other clients, I picked up more and more and more skills. Even to this day in my own business, I learned things like just this past week, I learned a new program and system that very well could help me as a VA in the future. And it was as a part of my own business collaboration with another account. So there are so many ways to do virtual assistant work that really work well for stay at home mothers. I would really encourage you to pray over this and ask God what to do. But regarding VA work, this is something that I talk to women a lot about. And they have a lot of questions like, how do I get into this? How do I find clients? Like, how do I sign up to get somebody to pay me to do this? The pay rate varies anywhere from like $15 an hour all the way up to like $50 an hour if you're a true expert in what they're looking for. So like if you're somebody who can web design and code, you're going to be able to make a lot more money than somebody like me who just understands like metrics and Pinterest and SEO, but I can't web design and code. So there are skill sets that will make you most valuable as a VA, but you can certainly begin at the very bottom rung and still make a viable income to bless. And honestly, like, isn't any income that's steadily coming to you better than none? And you have to start somewhere. So if you are interested in becoming a VA, I actually created something that I think would really benefit you. It is a VA crash course, and I throw all of my knowledge and insight from the past 6 years of doing this in there. I give you ideas on how to find your clients, what skills you need, what variety of ways that you can get into the VA world, because it's not just like you have to know all these things. You can market yourself in a very specific way with the skills you already have and then pick up things as you go. My main thing is you need to be a self-learner. You need to be willing to adapt and learn and pick up skills and be a yes person. So anyway, I hope that this video is encouraging to you. I hope that it gave you some ideas. And I hope that you will take it to prayer. If God's putting something in your heart or kind of nudging you in the direction, or if just the pressure of economic change, because that certainly has impacted our family. If that pressure is hitting hard and you feel like you're in a rock and a hard place, God has an answer for you. He really does. And you seek him and you watch videos like this from other mothers who are already doing it, and he will open the doors for you and show you if you're willing to be diligent and obey his voice. All right, so again, if you will leave any questions or comments below, you can check out that VA crash course if that's something that interests you or you feel led to do so. It's on my website. I will also put the link down below. And I hope that you have a wonderful day with your family, and family first, friends. Kindle togetherness. Focus on loving the people in front of you. Well, let's make our moments count for eternity.